I want to say good morning. I'm Krista Dyer. This is my husband, Jeff Dyer. And we are so excited that you're here this morning. I didn't know that there would be this many early risers. I'm an early morning person, so I was surprised to see this many people. We had a few handouts, but again, I never expected this many people at 7:30 on a Friday morning. And so at the very end, there's a link that you can either QR code or write down the link so you can get to our PowerPoint presentation. Because it's not on the TASB site for whatever reason. The other thing I want to share with you is we were asked to do a PowerPoint with no hot links, which is really hard for a technology person not to show you live what is going on. So I made a lot of screenshots, but at the end my contact information is there, so if you have questions, please call me, send me an email. I always check my email probably a bazillion times a day, so I won't miss you. And I can send you all the step-by-step directions on how to do something, or I can walk you through it. If you look close enough to Canva, I can just go over and show you how to do that, because I've done that as well. So that's at the very end.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Dyer. I'm the superintendent at Fort Elliott. And with us today, we have a few formalities we'd like to do before we kind of get started. I've got a few board members with me, and so we always want to recognize those guys. The first one is Mr. Ben Pig, if you please stand up. We have Mr. Sean Zebop. We have Mr. Mark Meadows. We have a couple of guys that are not with us. Mr. Brett Beggar is not with us, Mr. Keith Horn, and Mr. Richie Kiker. Now, I saved one guy for last because I want him to stand up. Mr. Richard Meadows, would you please stand up? I'm going to give you a little bit of trivia about this guy. 40 years as a board member. Yeah, he's seen a lot of changes and a lot of things happen, and he's gone from pencil and paper, and we're trying to get him into the digital age, but he's kicking and screaming all the way. But a little information about Fort Elliott. We're located in Panhandle, and we've got Pampa, and I've seen White Deer and Happy come in, and maybe a couple others I hadn't seen just yet. But anytime you're in the Panhandle, those guys are our neighbors, and we're glad that we're here. Even though they may be 200 miles away, they're still our neighbors. Now, we've kind of instituted a one-to-the-world technology program. It used to be one-to-one, but we've kind of discovered that any time that a kid has got a device, they have everything in the world is at their fingertips, and that's a great thing, and we're very excited about some of the things that we're doing at Fort Elliott along those lines. As I said, we're located in the Panhandle. Our district joins Oklahoma. Now, we are closer to 5 state capitals at Briscoe, Texas, than we are Austin, Texas. So that's how far away we are from up here, and a lot of times TEA doesn't even know that the Panhandle exists. There's a line from Childress across, and they don't even know anybody above that even exists. But that's where we are, that's who we are. We have 161 kids in our district. We have 503 square miles that we cover to pick up kids. We have bus routes that are almost an hour long that we run. So we're very rural, very remote, but we're trying to bring modern technology to our kids.
Okay, Googlicious and iPadalicious. The reason I gave that title was because when I think of Google, which I love, and iPads, which I love, it just seems very yummy to me. So the guys were saying, what? What's that with that title?
I didn't come up with that name.
We are a Google school, and what that means is we have our email through Google, and we also have, we just have everything through Google. Google provides us free email service, so a lot of times at our COA or our region center, they bundle your email with other things, and so you're paying a fee to have email if you use your region center, where Google gives it to us for free. And also we have tons of storage. I mean, there's more storage. I've had my account for probably as long as Google was around, and I've never reached a limit or even come close to reaching a limit for storage. And I have tons of pictures and tons of email. I have everything through my Google account. It also allows you to collaborate with other schools, which we're going to be doing with, I think, Channing ISD, and the free storage. That's because we have to buy servers every time we fill up our storage at school. So this way we don't have to buy those servers. We have cloud storage.
Okay, today we're going to talk about a little bit about reading levels. how you can use your Google Docs and how you can use some iPad apps. We're also going to look at Google Plus just a little bit. Some research, and one of my favorites is Boomerang. So these are some of the things that we want to just kind of familiarize you with. If you already know some of these things, we'll be glad for you to interject at any point. We want this to be more of a conversation type deal than just a one-way speaking. Okay, so is anybody right now, are you already using Google? Anybody in the room? Any school? All right, we got, not school. Any school using it? All right. What's your name, sir?
Kevin Sprinkle,
Where are you from?
Academy ISD.
Academy, Central Texas, the Bumblebees.
Yeah.
All right, how are you using that?
Well, we use it just like you guys with our email, Google Docs, all that type of stuff.
Well, good deal. You're the first prize winner since you wanted to speak up this morning.
I'll take it.
Okay, I don't know if you know this, but if you Google something in your Google toolbar, you can come up with a reading level. And so, as I said, everything's still shot. I wish I could go there and show you live. But for example, I Googled dolphins. So once you get dolphins up, everything comes up about dolphins. So if you go over to the side, over to my left, it says search tools. So if you click on search tools, you're going to get a little deal that says this. It's reading levels. And so you're going to pull up different reading levels. So if you're working with a small child, you might want the basic reading level. So it's going to pull up all the articles of just basic reading levels. If you want an intermediate, maybe you have a junior high student, you want to pull up articles that's more suited for them, or the advanced, of course, is for adults that are pretty good readers. So this is just a way that you can pull up articles, research articles on the level of reading that you're wanting.
Where did you, I didn't know about this, so where on that screen do I go?
Okay. Can you see it where I typed in dolphins at the top?
I see that.
Okay.
I've used Google, I just didn't know I had.
Yes, sir. If you go over to where it says search tools, right up there,
Okay,
if you click on search tools, then you're going to get another little box right here where it says all results, reading level.
Verbatim.
Verbatim. If you click on reading levels, then you're going to get the box that I showed you
okay.
next. And so then you would just click on basic, and it's going to pull up all the articles for that's a basic reader. And then if you click on intermediate and so on. Okay, how many of you are members of like LinkedIn, or you have Twitter accounts, or Facebook? Lots of you, I'm sure, Instagram, something like that. Well, Google Plus is also a community like that. And so if you have a Google account and you click on the little plus sign next to your name, it'll take you to your Google Plus account. And with that, you can search all different kinds of things. Excuse me. On this side, whichever, I guess that's your left side. If you click over there, you can scroll down and go to communities. And I've done a little search for communities. And I've actually searched for school board communities. So when you type in school board there, it'll pull up all the school board communities that are available to you. So you could be members of school board communities in the state of Texas. Or like here, I just did school board, so it pulled up Hawaii and many different other places. And so you just click on those and you become a member. So just like Facebook, you'll start to see things that Hawaii posts on their school board, the things that they're concerned about. Anyone have any questions about that?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So, I've always just used Google search.
Okay.
You're saying that you can access these, set up an account with Google.
Yes. Yes, so you would have a Gmail account. You could just type in Gmail, sign up, sign in, and then you're going to have access to everything that I'm showing you.
Okay, so you can set up an email account.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, this is one of the reasons why we went to become a Google school, because it allows us to have Google Docs, which is just like your Microsoft Word, and some of you that are still stuck with WordPerfect, I hate WordPerfect, but some of you really love it. It's just like that. It offers you so many things, and with this, I want to show you the really cool thing that my son has discovered, because I just showed him not long ago. For example, if you type in "I love dolphins" and you click on the word dolphin, you're going to right click on the word dolphin. It's going to bring up the little toolbar there. And if you go down to research, it's going to let you research the word dolphins. So it will pull up every image of dolphins. If you want just images of dolphins, it'll pull up any, let's see. Just anything from the web, I guess. It'll pull up anything that you could possibly imagine about dolphins, and you select it. And then, for example, if you select a picture, you click on the picture, you drag the picture over to your documents, and it cites it for you. So it puts the site at the very bottom, it'll put a number 1, fills in the site for you. So students that have to do like APA or MLA or Chicago, excuse me, you click which one you want. Do you want it to be MLA style? Do you want it to be APA style? And it cites it for you in that format. So you don't have to go, like when I was in college, I have to go to the book and go, okay, this is how you do APA. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, everything has to be. This does it completely for you. So you don't have to have that book that I had to buy and figure out how to do that. So I love this for that. My 7th grade son loves this for that. Does anybody have questions about how to do the search?
Well, I have questions, but
Okay.
where do you write where are you writing your document, and how do you insert it in your Word document? Is it a Word
Okay.
document you're working on?
Yes, it's, you go to Google. Once you have a Google account, you're going to go to your Google Drive.
Google Drive.
Google Drive, yes, sir. And in your Google Drive, you're going to be able to do a PowerPoint. You're going to be able to do forms. And forms is a whole nother subject that I could just spend hours on. I love forms. You also have Google Docs, so it's just like a WordPerfect or a writing tool. So you would just type a paper there.
Okay.
And in that Google Docs, you could start citing all your sources. So if you put in a picture, it would cite it for you. If you put in a little quote, it would cite it for you.
I've got it there.
So when you save these documents, you're saving this
You save them in your Google Drive.
as a Google Doc?
Yes.
So if I need to email it to someone,
You just share it. You don't even have to email. There's a little button, you click share.
but they have to have a Google account?
No,
No, they don't.
no, you could just share. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think you do, because my mom doesn't have a Google account and she gets my stuff, so. Yes, sir.
You don't have to, but there's a setting on there.
Did you have to change?
That you have to change
Okay.
to allow people without a Google account to receive the document.
That's right, you're right, yes. And you can set that setting to where you can edit it, or I can share it like with a student where all they can do is look at it. There's just so many features in here. A student can share an assignment with a teacher, and the teacher can leave little comments. You need to go back and change this, you need to look at this, don't forget to read about. There's so many things in this that you could use. Okay, the Chrome Store. Does anyone know about the Chrome Store? Oh my goodness. The Chrome Store is so exciting. So if you just go to your Google and type in Chrome Store, you're going to get a bazillion things. And the one that I've showed our teachers is the one on education. So if you click on education, there are tons of things for teachers, tons of resources that you can use. And these are like your iPad apps, but they're called extensions. And so you can go to education, you can get writing tools, the students can get things on anatomy, and you just click on it and it pulls up and lets you look at all different kinds of things. I mean, you'll just be amazed at everything that you can see there. So what I did was I typed in boomerang at the very top there. There's a little search bar. And this comes up when you type in boomerang, or when you type in something you want to look for. And so over to my right, or your right, oops, sorry, you can click on free. And that's how you download, like it would be an app. So you would download your app, but you're downloading an extension. And so it goes straight to your Google account or your Gmail or whatever you're looking for. So I did this for Boomerang, and does anyone know what Boomerang is? For Google, not a boomerang actually that you throw. Okay, I have a great audience. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. Boomerang is a tool that I use to set up email that I want to go to someone, but I don't need it to go today, I might need it to go next week. Or I need to remind myself that next week I have a meeting at 10, or I need to pay my bill on the 12th. So it sends me an email that says, hello, don't forget to do that. So once you click on free, it goes automatically into my email. And this is an email, so if I wanted to send this email out, this is what I would get. So instead of clicking send when I'm ready, you get an extra bar when you download the extension for Boomerang. And it says send later. And so then you can decide when you want that email to be sent. So here where the arrow is, you can pick the exact date, or you can say in an hour or 2 hours or tomorrow or whatever you want, whenever you want the email to be sent.
I'm going to kind of extend on what she does for Boomerang. I use Boomerang for our teachers. And when I say that, everybody has a birthday and everybody wants to be recognized. And something that we started in our district this year is we set up a Boomerang account. So last Monday, it sent me an email that said, hey, Casey Pig has a birthday today. So I go over there to my birthday cards, and I've got a little $5 Sonic card that we put in there. And so then I go to Miss Pig's room and I say, Miss Pig, I know it's your birthday, and a lot of times they don't really want to acknowledge that, but I say, I know it's your birthday, happy birthday, and we give them just a little card. And so that's one of the ways that I use just to kind of acknowledge that, you know, the special days in our teachers' lives, and sometimes they get passed over. And I asked her, I said, has anybody sang happy birthday to you? Well, she's a first grade teacher. They said 3 times already this morning. So she said, it wasn't exactly right, but it was their version. And I said, well, that's great. I'm glad that somebody's recognizing you. And so these are things that help remind you can do the little things. As a superintendent, sometimes you get caught up in the other things and not the personal things. And so this is kind of one of the things that we kind of went together this year and said, this is how we're going to make it personal at Fort Elliott. And so this is one of the things that we like, and we're going to try to use this for the year, and we've already got it set up, so I get the emails, and that way I don't forget anybody. And the worst thing you can do is start something and leave somebody out, and we sure don't want to do that. That's not intentional. Now, if you want to use this just in general, you can use it to pay your bills. If you have something that you know is going to get set up, or if you want to remind yourself that a bill has been paid, and you got to remember to take it out of your account. You can use this as a personal side. It doesn't necessarily have to be a school side, but we use it for personal, and we use it for the school. Or Krista uses it for personal, I use it for the school side.
And I use the birthdays just a little differently. I go through, like in August, I'll get all the teachers' birthdays, and I go in and set every teacher, you know, I type the happy birthday song to them and say, I hope you have an awesome day, and I go ahead and send it. And so on their day in March, I do this in August, so on their day in March, it sends them a happy birthday. And I may not even remember that day that it's their birthday, but what happens is they'll send me a thank you for wishing me happy birthday. I hope you have a good day too. And I'm like, oh yay, my Boomerang worked. And so that's how, and I do that with my family as well. So they all think I thought of them on their birthday, even though I might not be thinking of them on their birthday. They don't know that. Oh. Okay, iPads. We gave all of our students pre-K through 5th grade iPads, and oh my goodness, they love the iPads, and they were so excited when we showed up to give them to them. In fact, they referred to Mr. Dyer as Mr. School Claus. I was there Monday, and they were like, where's Mr. School Claus? I need to see him. So they love their iPads.
That was when we first rolled them out last year. It was, I guess, October 31st, I think that was the day. And so it was close to Christmas, and that's kind of how we got the nickname. Okay, some of the favorite apps that we use, a couple of things we like. KidBlog, and I'll explain that in just a minute. We have KidBlog, we have Shadow Puppet, and then my personal favorite is the dictionary. All right, so on the KidBlog, what we try to do is this. It's a program you can set up. And last year, here's what we did. We started KidBlog at our school. Well, it's kind of hard to blog if you're the only one blogging. So what we did is we knew some people at Wheeler, which is 10 miles down the road from us, and we contacted them and said, hey, would y'all want to KidBlog with us? So what we did is my wife went down to Wheeler and set Wheeler's classes up to do some blogging. And so we kind of got the blog back and forth. We did it a few times. It wasn't something that we just took off rampant, but it was pretty neat to see the elementary kids type stuff and then somebody from a different school type it. So we're going to piggyback onto that in just a few minutes. It's good for the comments. I mean, anytime we get kids writing, whether it's your editing skills or just connecting, we're trying to get our kids to write. And as y'all know, in our society today, we do a lot of texting and it's not proper grammar. So we're really trying to work on those type of things. And that's what the purpose behind KidBlog is. You have anything to add? Okay, some of our teachers, they use it as a daily journal. It's your warm-up. When the teacher comes in, especially if you're in an English class, they can give them a topic and they can start writing. So that's one way. The teacher can look at it, she can make comments back. You can propose any kind of question that you can possibly think of, whether you're in math, and that's the good thing about this. It goes across the curriculum, and that's kind of what we're looking for. You can do book reports on this. Book reports are great. Kids are reading, and then they're writing about it. Other kids are getting to look at it to see if they want to look at that book or to read that book. Now, we find that this is a big deal, just getting them to write. And there are a lot of things here that you can use. We're exposing them to technology. We're getting the kids in the situation to where they can be comfortable. If a kid's not a very good writer, then they can use this, they can type, knowing that somebody's going to look at it. So a lot of times they want to do their best work. And that's a big deal here, not just getting it done, but doing the best you can because you know that somebody else is going to be reading it. Now, that kind of gives them just a little bit of anonymity, kind of hide behind that. But everything has been checked. Teachers look at it, and correct me if I'm wrong, teachers get to look at this before they get put out. So it's not something that the kid puts down and it's automatically out on the web. So the teachers can look at this, and if they don't like something, then they can pull that off. And that way it doesn't get out there before the teacher knows what's going on. So it has some security features to it. Like I said, we use it in different subjects, and we're really trying this year. I've contacted Rob McLean over at Channing. And so last year we went with Wheeler, and this year I talked to Mr. McLean. We're going to use some Google Docs, and we're going to use some KidBlogs. And we really want to use it for our editorial writing. We want to get this out there, and he's going to have his group of kids, and we're going to have ours. And we're going to let his kids are going to edit and revise our papers, and then we're going to do that to theirs. So it kind of helps in two ways. It helps that we're writing, and then it helps that we are getting it revised, and we're getting different opinions of what other kids, when they read it. So we're kind of double dipping here. We're getting two different skills on one paper. And so that was one of the things that he and I talked about. And so we agreed that once we do this year, that next year we're not going to partner, that we have to find a different partner. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to branch this thing out across the Panhandle. That's what Mr. McLean over at Channing and I, that's kind of what we've envisioned, let's say. So this is kind of we want it to grow kind of like a tree and have different branches, and hopefully we can cover up the whole Panhandle before too long.
Okay, I want to tell you just a few minutes why we chose to do KidBlog in the first place. I had a student that was a kindergartner, and she was very advanced for kindergarten, and she needed just something else, to fill her time with. And so I started looking at different things, and the one thing that she loves to do is to read. And so when I found KidBlog, I thought that she could use it. Her name was Addison. I felt like she could use it as where she reads a book and writes a summary, and then our students can log on to her KidBlog and go, oh, she read, The Little Red Rabbit. I want to read that because it's about, rabbits or whatever. And so other students could go on and say, I read that book too. I love it. I love that book, or that's my favorite book as well. And so that got her writing, more than just reading. And then other people were making comments on the things that she wrote. So that excited her. Every time she would get a comment, she was like, Miss Dyer, look, I got a comment. Someone left me a comment. And when we first started, I got the teachers and our office staff to be the ones to log in and make the comments, kind of just to see how it was going to go and check everything out and make sure it was as secure as I thought it was going to be. Because there's a lot of settings in there, and so I didn't want someone to slip in and write something negative or, not very nice to this little girl and ruin her time with it. But it is very, very kid-friendly. The kids love it. And Addison really had a good time with it. And I think she probably still does it. Her mom was making comments. The other thing I want to tell you about KidBlog is we hear the 4 C's a lot when we go to conferences: collaborate, critical thinking skills, communicating, and being creative. And so I felt like KidBlog hit on all of those areas. They hit on all 4 C's. You know, we're teaching kids to communicate and communicate with others with the collaboration. They're having to be creative in the things that they write, and they're having to use their critical thinking skills as well. So I love KidBlog. And the one way I wanted to go back to, when I went to Wheeler, the math teacher said, "How am I going to use KidBlog? This is a writing thing. What does this have to do with me?" And I said, "Well, I think you could use it as, you could put a math word problem out there, and all your students can log on and answer the math word problem." And she said, "Oh, that's good." And I said, "But the better thing is to make your students create a math word problem and have other students go on and try to solve their math word problem." And as Jeff said, the teacher edits everything before it goes away. So if the child writes it and it doesn't make sense, or it's not a really good math problem, then it goes to the teacher, and she calls little Susie up and says, "You need to fix this a little bit. What else could you say? How else could you do this?" And so before it goes out there for anyone else to look at, you know, it can be edited. And so there's just many things about KidBlogs that is amazing.
I have 2 questions. First of all, going back to your iPads in the K through 5th grade, did you go with the mini iPad? Did you just go with the big iPad? Was there advantages, disadvantages that you researched out or anything? And the second question is on your KidBlog, for security reasons, can you limit it to only people in Fort Elliott or Channing or Wheeler, like you may mention, or is
Yes.
it just a global thing and you just monitor it?
No, sir, you can limit it. You can even have a password, so only the people with a password can log on to the students. And that's how we started. So I gave the password to our office staff and said, "Okay, you know, Addison's typed a blog. Could you use this password and go on?" And the teachers can put the names in of who she wants to see it, and you click on your name. So like I would go and click on Krista, and then I would type in the password that was given to me. And so then I could get in and see Addison's blog. Otherwise, you can't get to it.
Okay, to answer the other question about the decision on the iPads. When we came to Fort Elliott, they already had some iPads, so we wanted to make everything match. And so that, they already had, I guess, the larger, the iPad 2. And so we just matched them up because we felt like it would be easier technology-wise, loading apps, and it would be the same format for everybody. So that's kind of how we took that choice.
The other thing you have to look at is, the iPad mini is appealing, but they come with different adapter. And so we had 2 carts already purchased that are really expensive, and the adapters for them were the iPad 2. And so we kind of have to stick with that, otherwise we have to buy another big cart to charge it. And so the cart is in the library right now, and the students just take their iPads down when they need to be charged and charge them, and then they go get them in the mornings and they're ready to go. So the adapter thing is a little, you have to be careful with that. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In terms of the collaboration, specifically I know that
We actually,
Can you repeat the question?
Restate the question that he said, because they can't hear in the back.
my question deals with,
Let me say it over the mic. Let me say it over the mic, where everybody can hear. He's asking if there were any problems with the Google Docs between the collaboration piece. I'm assuming when you say that, when it's sent out and people are looking at it, are there problems with them being able to access it? Assistive technology.
I don't know the answer to that, I'm sorry.
We haven't had that problem yet. We haven't incurred that yet.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
With regards to the KidBlog again, you said it's an iPad app.
It's an iPad app and a link,
Okay, so you can access it through.
either way. Yes,
We
sir.
just use it for our iPads, but that's what we have at our school. Right. This is a pretty neat little story. If you got a QR reader, anybody got QR readers as part of the app process? If you've got one, this is a pretty good link. If you'll scan it, it brings up a news report on some people doing some kid blogs. And it's Channel 5, Fox Channel 5, and they've done a piece on it. And it's a pretty neat piece. It kind of talks with the kids, it talks with the teachers. So if you've got a chance, if you can pull that up and look at it, that's a great little resource. If you want to show your school board, if you want to show your teachers, this is a great little piece to present to them.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Regarding the QR code, have you gone into making a QR code for the kids? Have you played with that part of it?
Yes, sir, we have. And they really enjoyed it. I had a third grade teacher that really took off with it. And something I did that I thought was really neat, I don't know if I was the only one that thought it was neat, but I went to the elementary and had little kids read bios about our athletic girls, our basketball girls. They were doing really well. And so I went over and said, okay, here's Laramie's name. So tell me what you know about Laramie. And one of them was actually her brother. And so he said, you know, Laramie is my sister. She does, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And so in my QR code, when you scanned, I had a picture of her, but when you scanned the QR code, it was her playing basketball and her doing different things. And as the students talking, telling about his sister. And so there are so many things you can do with QR codes. The teacher, the third grade teacher, actually did a little quiz. And so you scan the QR code and then went and, you know, looked at the answers and, you know, different things like that. She really ran with it and did a really good job, but I love QR codes. I know they're kind of going out in some places. They've been around for a long time, but there's so many things that you could do with those. Anyone else have any questions about QR? Okay. Shadow puppet. I started this in the first grade classroom. We had 4 students in there, and the teacher asked if I come in and show them shadow puppet. And there were 4 boys, no girls. So I wasn't sure if they were going to love it or not, but oh my goodness, they were so excited. I mean, they were like, oh my gosh, look at my shadow puppet. They were so excited. And so this little boy is Jackson Meadows, which is Mr. Meadows' grandson. He's in first grade, and so I got him to tell me. I just went to him and said, what is your favorite app? And thank goodness he said it was Shadow Puppet. So I recorded him telling about Shadow Puppet.
Mr. Meadows is really nervous about what this kid is fixing to say right now. I'll tell you that.
Hey, my name is Jackson. My favorite app is Shadow Puppet. I go there
Why do you like Shadow Puppet?
because you could take pictures and then make them. You could talk into them and then let's see.
So I was really happy he said Shadow Puppet, because Shadow Puppet is super easy for students to use, and I think that's why he loves it, and many of the other students love it as well. All you have to do is take your iPad and go around and take pictures of the things that you want to talk about. And you can do this like in science. You can take pictures of leaves or bugs or whatever. And when you go to your Shadow Puppet app, there's a little create, a plus sign. So you just click the create. And when you click the create button, it's going to pull up your camera roll. And so you choose the pictures that you want to use in your Shadow Puppet. You just click on them. And when you click on them, they automatically load into your Shadow Puppet. So then you'll hit the start button and you can start recording. So the students can say, today we did da-da-da-da-da. Tomorrow we're going to do, or this is how you do a math problem, or however you want to use it. But you just click start, it starts to record, and you just scroll through your pictures and say whatever it is that you want to say. And then when you're done, you click done, and a little screen comes up and you're ready to play it. Or you can email it to your teacher, or you can put it, I think, on I think you have tons of choices. Facebook and probably Twitter. I don't even remember all the choices. But our students just email it to their teacher. And I've already gone in and added all of our teachers' email addresses. So when the students click on it, it populates with the teacher's email. And so it sends it right to her. And we put some up on our Facebook page last year. And I think the parents really enjoyed seeing their little kids' shadow puppets. Well, And Shadow Puppet, like I said, you could use it to tell a story, and that's how some of our students have used it. Explain an idea. I had one little girl draw, like she made a book. And so once she made the book, she took pictures of each page of the book, and then she recorded herself telling the story and reading the story. So like another student could come and hear her story. Math problems, you could put, can you explain to me how to do this math problem? And they can record themselves going through the steps. And then the leaves, the bugs, science type of things. You can record any type of experiment. I mean, this could even be done at the junior high. You could take pictures of the steps of your experiment as you go, and then record what you did and send it to your teacher. And of course, counting money or anything like that. Okay, here's a few of our board members' children or grandchildren telling you what their favorite apps are.
Hi, my name is Ben Baker. Duolingo is my favorite app because it teaches me Spanish and other languages too.
Duolingo is a Spanish app that helps students learn Spanish. And I had a teacher, I think it was my kindergarten teacher that wanted, no, it was my kindergarten teacher that wanted some Spanish apps. And so I just started looking through and I found this one and just put it on there, and I just put it on every student's iPad. And he's in the 4th grade, and that's his favorite app. So we have tons of apps on the iPads, and that's his favorite.
Here's another board member that's nervous.
My name is Barry Meadows. This is my favorite app, Math Zombies, and this is my favorite app because you get to learn new math facts and you get to have lots of fun.
Math Zombies is a little strange one, but it's pretty simple. It starts out with just addition facts. And so you answer the addition problem, and then it shoots the zombie as the zombie's trying to attack you. So of course boys would love that. As a girl, not so much, but Barrett loves that iPad app. Okay, this is Tatum Pig, and her dad is here, and Roper Pig, and he's a school board member, and this is her favorite app. Oh.
Tatum Pig. Hi, Dad. I like Kaleidoscope in so you can draw funny little things.
Okay, her favorite app is the Kaleidoscope app. And we had an art teacher last year, and so I put some different apps on there for the art teacher to use, and one of them was Kaleidoscope. And if you know what a kaleidoscope is, it does just those different type of things, makes kaleidoscope pictures, and she really loves that.
My favorite app is Stack the States because you can answer questions and stack the states. And you have to get it past the line.
Okay, he was my first guinea pig that I called in to say, okay, tell me what your favorite app is. And that was Roper Pig, and his favorite app was Stack the States. And that's a new app that I found this summer. And I was trying to find different things to help the kids remember the states and know fact about the states. And so this app actually asks you, what is the capital or the capital of Austin is in what state. And so it gives you 4 states, and you have to click on the state that the question answers. And so it's just constantly, in fact, this was evidently I don't know my states very well, because some of the questions that it asked, I was like, okay, I don't know what that is, let me just guess. So if you guess, it just kind of goes away. It doesn't bonk or give you a, gosh, you're wrong. It just moves away. But if you get it right, you get to click on it, and then it drops down. And once it drops down and it builds blocks. And once you get up past the line, then you win and you get so many points, and you start over, or you start trying to get, you get harder questions. And so the students started out with a free version, and I guess it was, how many weeks have we been in school? We've been in school 5 weeks, and about the 3rd week, the teacher was emailing me, hey, we need the real version. We need you to buy this because the kids love it. So I just purchased the whole version of Stack the States, and that's one of the 5th grade's favorite apps.
Some of us we have favorite apps, and mine is the dictionary app, and I'll tell you why. Being the superintendent, if you send out something to anybody, whether it's a newspaper, an English teacher especially, if you misspell a word or you're grammatically wrong, they will send it back to you and it will be highlighted. Okay? So I use this, and the best part about the app is that once you download these, they become handy. It's voice activated. So if you just really don't know how to spell something, if you talk it into the phone, it will bring it up. And I tell you, I've only found it one time that it hadn't recognized the word, and right now I don't remember what the word was. But that just gives me that peace of mind that this is what I'm going to send out, and I know things are right, and I sleep better at night because of that. So this is one app that I use on a daily basis when I'm typing out anything to send to anybody. This is something that I like to use. Even though it says spell check, sometimes I just like to double check because it just doesn't look right. So this is my favorite app. Now, being in the Panhandle, I have another one. I didn't put it up here, but I want to tell you about it. It's My Radar. Storms come rolling in on us pretty quick. You can see them from a long way off. You know, that's the best thing about the Panhandle that I've learned is you can see for a long way and still not see anything. So, only people that laugh are from the Panhandle because they know it's true.